Hello, and everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on this lovely Thursday to walk through the Snap Manage platform. My name is Taylor Vakulskis, and I'm the sales manager for our athletic program management products at Snap Mobile. And I am joined by the amazing Kim Johnson, who is the expert in all things Manage. So knowing we have limited time with you guys today, we wanted to start by just introducing Snap Mobile and who we are as a company, followed by a high-level overview of the product and a short demo, and then we will close out and hopefully see you guys again soon. You all probably know us primarily as a fundraising company because that is how we got our start and certainly where our deepest roots are. Over the past few years, we've acquired companies and products to expand our offerings with the end goal of being a one-stop shop solution for any athletic program. And one of those products is Snap Manage. So Snap Manage is the integrated platform that houses our scheduling, public-facing athletics website, registration, and communication software. Even more importantly than what this product does is why does it exist? Snap Manage, formerly known as 8 to 18, was created with the intention that all athletics, activities, and event management could be done in one place without 75 tabs open on your computer. So on that note, let's dive into a few more of the reasons that Snap Manage can make your lives just a little bit easier. Snap Manage has one overall goal: simplify your life as an AD. First and foremost, the software is designed to minimize clicks. There is nothing worse than having to dig through layers of pages and drop downs and click 100 buttons to get something simple done. Manage is click efficient and allows for the next big outcome of using the platform: saving time. Snap Manage has reusable templates to avoid duplicate work, electronic contract management, and even automated reminders for expiring physicals. All of that data that you put into Snap Manage about schedules and participants seamlessly integrates with your custom athletics website so that parents don't miss an update and spend less time calling your office for information. And last but not least, Snap Mobile does not sell ad space on your website or student data, ever. The website is just that, yours. So whether you are using a different system or no system currently, onboarding with Snap Manage is quick, easy, and painless with our one-on-one onboarding partner training and mass data upload capabilities. So we can have you up and running in a matter of weeks. Now, Kim is going to demonstrate some of those features live while I unshare my screen and she shares hers.
Thank you. So the first thing I want to walk you through is, as an athletic director, we know and understand, based on years of history with our customers and feedback, what an athletic director responsibility is. We know your job is extremely difficult from a variety of different fronts. Scheduling should not be one of those hard tasks. So with that, we know when you come in every day, the first thing you're looking at is what is going on within my area of responsibility for today. So here you'll see everything that's going on for today. I have rentals being handled in my facility. I've got practices. I might have the building usage being used for a bake sale, any type of activity or event that's going on that I need to be responsible for. And we also know that all of the details are behind the scenes. So with that, we've made it very, very simple for athletic directors to be able to manage all of that in one place. So if I was going to come down here and click on one of my events here, and I needed to take a look at what do I need to do for this particular event. We have the details. So this is for a boys wrestling event. It's going to be a home game. So with home games, I know there's things that I need to take care of. So I can look down here, and if I need to know what do I need to set up for that particular game, you can have your preparation set up so that every time you run a girls basketball game, all your preparations are automatically populated into the program. It's a template to make it easier. So these are all the preparations that have to be handled for tonight. I can either do that as an AD. Many ADs have to do those tasks themselves, or they can hand it off to somebody in the maintenance department to make sure that all of these things are done before the game starts. You can also manage your workers. These are your paid workers, whether they're a certified or hourly employee. You can identify who's doing what duties, put their pay in here. You can also create pay reports so you can send directly to your business office to pay the workers part of the payroll. And you can also include an official. Many ADs obviously use an official system, but some do not use the maybe the Arbiter Pay or the Rev Pay. You can put your officials in here so you at least know and you can tag who's working the game. When you have a worker and an official assigned to an event, each of those workers, any official, and your opponent will receive reminders 24 hours in advance and 48 hours in advance that they're working or officiating or playing you at this particular game. The reminders are sent out at the time of the game, so it's 24 hours prior to 6 o'clock in the evening. You can also put in the arrival time and send a report to those workers to make sure that, hey, if Kim needs to be there at 5:30, you want them at 5:30, put the arrival time in there so you can create a report for them. Transportation details. If you had an away game, you can put your bus information right here. Sometimes maybe it's a home game and your kids are being bused across the street to another field. You can put in your bus information. This information will be reportable, but then also will be put onto your website so your parents know exactly where the buses are departing from. The other great feature of the program is contracts. We know that many states have to provide a contract to their opponents. So when you're using a contract, it's a digital contract. I am going to create a contract, send it to my opponent. When your opponent receives it, they get an email that says, hey, here's your contract. And then they can go in here and literally digitally sign the contract so that when they're signing it, it's going to come back to me signed, and then it's going to store it in the database that contract is resolved. It's been sent, and it also has been signed by my opponent. So we store the contracts in here. Excuse me one second here. So we have the contract stored. It was sent. It also says it was signed. And then if you want to, for some reason, need a downloaded copy, you can do that. But we store it. And then also, not only do we store it in each individual event, we also have a contract inventory report so that you can go in here and search all of your unsigned contracts. Say you're going to your monthly athletic director meeting and you need to say, okay, guys, who hasn't returned the contracts for any type of upcoming events? You can find them here. You can download a report, or you can go in here and then identify those that you want and then resend all of the contracts that you've marked in there. So you're constantly reminding your opponent to make sure they're getting the contracts back to you. And those will be all stored there. You can filter it by any sport in case you're looking to do your spring sports. I want to do baseball. You can do that as well. So again, one of the things we hear from our customers, and we take feedback very seriously when we have requests for improvements or enhancements, we take that feedback and we look to see if we can act upon it very quickly to make it more efficient and streamlined for our athletic directors. So the other thing that obviously happens, and we know that happens during the spring season, which is upcoming, one of probably the most painful seasons we have, is you might need to make sure that you can change an event, right? We know we have to do postponements, we have to cancel games or reschedule them. So here, if you want to make a change, you can do it quickly here. I can cancel an event, I can postpone it, or I can reschedule it. When you're rescheduling an event, it's going to let you do the date and time, any notifications you want to make, and then you can save it and it'll create an invite, an email to the opponent and a worker or official who's assigned to that event, letting them know that the game has been changed. We also know that during the year, you already have all your events scheduled and you need to go in there and reschedule all of the boys basketball games or boys baseball games on a certain date. You can go in here to events management, find the dates that you're looking for and say, I need to cancel all my events for today. I can go in here and say, okay, I want to cancel all these games. All I do is hit cancel. All of these will be canceled and they will all appear on your website as a canceled event. You can postpone them. If you need to reschedule these events, you would need to reschedule them individually for the time, but we are working on a way to reschedule them all. It's just that sometimes the times are a little bit different there. So we've talked about contract management, the events. There's a lot of different reports within this program. All of the reports are filterable, and you can do any type of selection on any of the data fields that are here. You probably have to either run Excel reports if you're not using a system, or if you're using another type of program. There's a lot of different reports that you can run through here. So I'm not going to go through the reports because they're very self-explanatory when you're looking at them. But one of the other things that I like about the program is that if you're looking for your season, so I really want to take a look at everything I have going on for a particular season of my sports. I can see all of my events in one place. If I want to make sure I have my bus schedules in one place, I can do it from here, also my officials. And then this is where I can set all my templates up. So that's really the highlights of the program for scheduling. And again, there's a lot of different things that the program can do to identify shortcuts for you. But the premise of is managing the events, making sure you can quickly reschedule, postpone, or cancel events during the season, do electronic contracts, and run a variety of reports for your principals or maintenance or any other ones that you might need to run for. You can also identify what teams and what information is posted to your website. So if you're doing things like certain meetings, certain rental facilities that are being used by others outside of your organization, you can make those unpublishable so that they're not showing up on the website. So I'm going to, if you want to have a question in the chat for anything on scheduling that you would want me to address, I'll be happy to do that. But from here, I'm going to go ahead and jump into our online registration portal. So we know that we've got game schedule, we've got all of our events scheduled, and now we need those students to participate in those particular programs. So one of the things about our online registration platform is that it's not just for seasonal sports. You need to think of it in more holistic around all extracurricular activities. I'm showing you one school that has all of their activities. They do a phenomenal job with having their parents register not only for the activities, any events, summer camps, driver's ed programs, or your seasonal sports. You can do it in one platform. So if I'm a parent, I can just go one place and I get it all done at the same time. And within the program, you have three stakeholders. You have parents who are going to register and consent to all of your legal forms. So one of the things that is easily addressable by the schools is to identify what legal forms that your students need to comply with. So you're going to identify and upload those forms for your parents. When your parents have gone through and consented to those forms, they can submit the registration. Our system does not allow parents to register without consenting to all the documents in order to be registered, because we don't want you or your coaches having to chase down any legal forms. They're all done at the same time. You can also upload a video. If you have a state required video, the state of Ohio has a concussion protocol or cardiac arrest video that they have their parents watch once a season. You can add that as well. Maybe it's your mandatory parent meeting that you have at the beginning of every season. You can upload that video and have your parents watch it so they know what's going on. When the parents are registered, they're going to get reminders through the system based on key things that they do. So when they register, they're going to get an email confirmation. If you take payments through the system, they'll get a payment confirmation to know that they're paid up. And those are important because you want to make sure all that communication is taking place. You can also opt in to have your parents upload a physical. If you want them to upload the physical to the system, you'll receive a notification that says Kim's physical has been uploaded, and then you can look at it and approve it. And then you enter the date that the doctor signed that physical form as a validation. And then based on your state requirements of how long that physical is valid, here in the state of Illinois, it's valid for 13 months. So when we put in a date of the physical from the doctor's signature, it begins tracking it for 13 months, or if a state is 12 months, and so on. Then we send out physical reminders to the parents at 60 days, 30 days, 10 days, and day of, letting them know. That reminders are there set so that the coaches don't have to worry about it and you don't have to worry about it until they become expired. But coaches will see that on the tryout list and on their roster, letting them know whose physicals are coming up for expiration. The other thing with the registrations for the parents, it's a 6 or 7 step process to complete their registration, and they're done. It's 24/7 so that they can register at any given time when you identify when the sports are open. Your coaches have access to only their sports and their gender and level of responsibility. And the largest thing for your coaches that they have access to immediately, the tryout list of all the kids who are trying out. Then they can identify who's going to make what level. They set the roster. And then once the rosters are set by level, they'll be able to see the emergency contact report for each individual sport and level. So they can access it at any given time when needed. We also allow you to track your awards and records. So if you have a specific award you assign at the school level or the individual team, you'll be able to track the incoming awards based on when you start. And that's a nice piece versus having Excel spreadsheets managing the awards as well. The other thing we'll note for you on the registration for you as administrators, you'll be able to see everyone who's registered for whatever activity they've identified, what team they've been put on, their physical dates. If you want to keep track of the baseline concussion testing, you can do that as well. Most of these are good for 24 months. And then the other thing that is in here is that if a parent identifies their student as a transfer, those records will be identified with a T saying this is a transfer student. You as the administrators will also receive on your dashboard a notification that tells you here under your admin dashboard how many student transfers have been registered. The parents have to identify, if they've identified the student as a transfer, they will have to identify what date they transferred in and what school they're coming from. Then this gives you the ability to identify who those students are and then take action. So we know that doing transfer information is so critical to eligibility, and that you need to do some work behind it to validate that you have everything squared away. So what we provide you is just a view of those students. And then once you've done your magic behind the scenes, then you'll be able to go in and approve them. They'll come off the list. And then you can also run a report through the system of all the transfer students. But you know you've taken a look, you're good, it's approved, and then you approve them, and then they'll still be identified as transfers. So this is all for athletic eligibility. We also know that you do a ton of work around grade eligibility, and we'll work with you on what's available for that. The other piece for this is the messaging. We know communication is so important. We also know that many schools use a variety of different ways to communicate. Through the registration, we want to make sure that you're identifying those kids who are either rostered to that sport, or maybe you want to send out a message to everybody who was interested in one sport. You can do that through the system. Coaches are only allowed to communicate to their individual teams and rosters, but you can send it out to the season if you want to send out a message to all the winter athletes and their parents about the winter banquet coming up. You can do that. But this communication portal provides you the ability to send it by email to the parents and students' emails, or you can send it by text messaging. I use the premise that if it's urgent and you want to get something out, send it by text. If it's something other and you want to send more information, you can send them through an email. Or you can send it both ways. But these are the messaging through the system. So it's a no reply. It's a push notification from you and your coaches. It's not geared toward having parents be able to reply to you or the students to be able to reply to you. We are looking into our communication platforms to potentially provide an opportunity for two-way communication where it's appropriate and where you as an administrator has approved that. We want to keep the risk and liability down for you based on people communicating with one another. That is our registration platform. So when you think about your duties as an athletic director, you've got to do all the scheduling. You or your administrative assistant is managing all the paperwork coming in. All the paperwork is done digitally. You're storing it within a platform, so it's always there. The information from the parents transfer from one year to another. So my information will stay with me through the graduation of each of my students. So every time I register as a parent, I don't have to repopulate my information. My information is there, as is my students. If I need to update my phone numbers, I can do that all through this platform. And it's very easy to set up your registrations, whatever it might be, as you're thinking about all extracurricular activities. From there, you're bringing all these pieces together for promoting it to your parents, right? You want to make sure that any parent or student or fan or even other schools that need to see what's going on within your school, they have access to your website. This is a branded website for you. This is promoting their sponsor. There could be urgent announcement messages out here that they're putting out there. So this is a message that was put out in January about their golf outing. So you can put these as an urgent announcement so that they appear up front, and the parents do have to go through each one in order to close those out. You can brand your website with a nice photo. You can change that out at any given time in case you want to do it by season, or you've got some picture you really want to promote, you can do that as well. All of your athletics and activities. If you don't want to put your activities on here, you do not have to. You can hide that. But again, we see that most parents, if they want to go to one place, if my kids are in activities and athletics, it's here. You can look at each individual team, find all the information about that team. So you've got your upcoming events. You're going to have your rosters here. They automatically post based on your rosters coming from your registration. It posts it. You've got a nice way to print it and download it. You've got all of your schedules and results here for your community. You've got resources where you can put different links that you want the varsity basketball parents to know about. You've got your photo gallery. And then you also have a view of all of your calendar information. So parents can go out here looking for the day, or they can look at from a calendar view. However they want to find out what's going on within a given day. So all your events, or if it's a past event, it's going to have the scores. Resources, you'll be able to identify all the things that you want parents to see on your website versus calling you, asking you for some certain information. And then they has a direct link to your registration so that parents can easily go to your website, click on registration, it takes them to that platform. Right now, we have a couple of tabs that you can customize. This is going to take you directly to your booster club. This will take you to whomever you are using for your ticketing. But these are yours to identify. Right now it's 2, but we are going to be expanding that. But again, we want to make sure that you have a way to promote and brand your students. Here's all the home and away again. Any sponsors you want to promote on your website, you can do that. News and announcements, and then your photo gallery. So that brings those 3 pieces of our platform together. And I'm going to stop here and turn it back over to Taylor, unless there's any questions I need to answer.
No questions in the chat as of now.
Okay.
Alrighty, I will share my screen again. Thank you so much, Kim, for taking us through that. And can you just go confirm you can see my screen?
Yes.
Amazing. All right, so after seeing the ease of use of Snap Manage, before we close out, I wanted to shamelessly plug that Snap Manage, as well as our digital fundraising Snap Raise, integrate with our custom branded mobile app for athletic programs called FanX. When you update schedules and manage, they automatically push to our mobile app in the hands of every student, parent, and fan for real-time updates, so no one ever misses a beat on your program. We can also link any active fundraisers that you have going through SnapRaise to increase visibility and funds for your programs. And speaking of funds, FanX also has over 30 spots in the app for your sponsor placements, allowing you to generate revenue in a totally new and digital way. But anyway, I know we're here to talk about scheduling and registration, so just wanted to close out by saying thank you, and thank you for joining us today. Everyone who attended today will get an email with follow-up information, as well as a copy of the link to the QR code on the screen. If you would like to take a deeper dive on anything that you saw and heard here today, as well as learn about our budget-friendly pricing, please fill this out to talk to Kim and myself, as well as win a $25 gift card for attending that meeting. Thank you all so much for the time today, and we hope to see you again soon.